What's up, Internet? Lucas here again. Another day of wrenching on the car, trying to get ready for grid life here. It's now the 10th, Wednesday, less than 24 hours before I leave. Getting really close. Just filled myself up with some Panda Express, which you'll see here. And yeah, now we are at Harbor Freight Tools. Gonna put together a quick and dirty toolkit to bring with. Probably have all the tools that I need at home, but never hurts to have some spares. And figure might as well just do a quick track toolbox for the summer. Just gonna pick up a couple of things here. I got a torque wrench and stuff at home, so yeah, let's go in and get some tools. Yes, sustenance with a good view. Let's see here. High-vis, color-coded. Oh, high-vis. All right, $7. Can't beat that. Oh, that in the kite. One of these guys. $10 for some pliers. Works for me. I hope I don't have to change my pads, but $8 for one of these guys is a worthwhile investment. And sheet mallet in case I got to beat a wheel off or something. For anyone wondering, that is what is through my front tow hook. A 4,000-pound working load half-inch D-ring shackle that's welded in to an M22 bolt. Ah, yes. Definitely need to check my tire pressure. Well, dang it, I want one of these. That's only $90 right now, but nothing. Well, successful tool haul. They had the jack, and I got it for a little over $100. These are way nicer than the old Pittsburgh aluminum racing jacks. Super stoked I was able to get one of these. So now we gotta cram all this into this little space. All right, there's the start of the toolbox getting loaded up. Got most everything I need in here now. Just got to get the last couple of sockets, my torque wrench, and some other miscellaneous tools in here when I get home tonight. And yeah, and then the tools will be ready to go. Well, I just got back to work and still got some time on lunch, so figured I'd tackle a couple of small things here in the interior before go back into work and get back to the grind. So let me turn the camera around. So I found this really nice little USB charger that goes into a factory port here on the Yaris. As you can see, I've kind of got it jerry-rigged right now to the cigarette lighter. So I'm going to cut these wires, splice this in back here behind the cigarette lighter, and then tuck all these wires down on the center console so they're not exposed anymore, and then pop a new plug in here. I've got this little wire dangling right here. I used to have a window-mounted FM antenna, but I've since gone to a little shark fin on the roof, so gonna get that pulled out, get the antenna reconnected, and while I'm in here I might as well go over a couple of things. So I spent a lot of time in the interior of this car. This was my daily driver, so done quite a few various things to this interior to just make it more livable. So well, first off, this is a Canadian 06, so we got the tack, which is awesome because the majority of American Yaris's did not come with a tack. The color scheme of this gauge cluster from the factory is terrible. It's like some weird white color, and when I bought this car, like half of these LEDs didn't even light up anymore. So I replaced all the LED bulbs in the gauge cluster here. These were, I think it was 592 nanometers or something like that. Was a really great match for the Deffies. It doesn't really look it actually looks a little bit better on camera in the daytime, but they match almost perfectly. I actually went through, and the needles from the factory are red. I took some acetone, rubbed the red paint off the backside of the needles and applied some fresh white model paint to the backside, and then replaced those LEDs back there with some white LEDs, so that way they match the Duffy's really nice. Also went through the radio here. This is a factory 07 US spec Yaris radio. Normally lights up green. Yeah, that didn't match anything, so had to yank this all apart, do the same thing. Completely different LEDs. This is actually way more difficult to replace the LEDs in this than the gauge cluster. You think with the needles and everything that the gauge cluster would be harder, but no way. This thing has something like 34 or 36 LEDs inside of it you got to replace, where the gauge cluster only has like 12. So yeah, this thing was a huge pain in the butt, but was able to get this matched. The climate controls don't perfectly match because these have incandescent bulbs from the factory, and I have some LEDs. Well, I've tried to put LEDs behind them, but they just have really weird hot spots because it doesn't diffuse the light properly. So I have incandescents in here with orange bulb covers on them. That's about the best thing that I could do without making it look too terrible. I got my little Duffy controller mounted here, just on some Velcro. Moving to the steering wheel. So this is actually not a TRD steering wheel. This is a 2004 Toyota Matrix XRS steering wheel I got from the U-Pull and Save. The wheel and the airbag. The leather wrap was really terrible, so I bought a cheap leather wrap kit off of AliExpress. Stitched it all up myself. I really like the red stripe in the center because it gives you a good reference point when you're on the track, and really quickly lets you figure out where your steering is. Yeah, so I wrapped it with the red stitch leather, and then got this nice little TRD horn button here to make it look as close to a real TRD wheel as I can get it. So moving down here, we have some pedals. So the clutch and the brake pedal are some Fugan pedals I got off AliExpress. I really like this style of pedal because it has this nice grippy, it reminds me of sintered bronze filters that you use on pneumatic stuff. But I really like the design of these. I went through and I sanded off the laser etched Mugen logo off of these because they aren't Mugen, and this is a Toyota, so I don't want it to say Mugen. And then on the throttle pedal side, we have a Razzo throttle pedal that is adjustable. I've got the little toe area kicked over. It's about the perfect amount, so it's really easy for me to heel toe this thing now. The pedal placement on this car kind of sucks from the factory, so that was about the best thing that I could do to make it a little bit easier on me. So one thing I messed up here, I have this nice ram mount style phone mount that's designed for a motorcycle, so that way I can mount my phone to the dash for my lap timer, and it double secured with this thing, so that way if anything happens, my phone stays put. So over here on the door cards, we have the Energy Innovations Prisma Labs Pina, I believe is what they call this pattern. So yeah, I have the Energy Innovations Prisma Lab Pina seat in my car, and I thought it'd be really cool since they sell this fabric to match the door cards, because this fabric was all faded and looked terrible. So yeah, that's about that's a quick run through of the interior here. Yeah. Alright guys, just under the car working here, getting the oil changed on the old girl. Thought I could do a quick little overview of what's going on under the car here. So around, first thing you see is this. What in the heck do you think that is? Well, this car used to be turboed. I had a turbo kit on it, but I have since unbuilt this car and rebuilt it for the Sunday Cup class, because we're obviously not allowed to run turbos in Sunday Cup. Let's see here. Replacement transmission. This is not the OEM trans. This is out of a 2007 Canadian Yaris. My trans took a crap on me when I was turboed. So yeah, 90,000 miles on this trans. And then in here is a stock flywheel that I resurfaced and an Exity Stage 1 clutch. If we look over here, so these are Super Pro control arms. They're basically just factory replacements, new ball joints with poly bushings in the back and the front. And I don't really think, well, you can kind of see them there. Yeah, there's the poly Super Pro rear bushing. Otherwise up front, brand new wheel bearings, Timken wheel bearings all around. Brand brand new brake lines. I'm just running OEM rubber brake lines right now because stainless steels are really expensive, and I don't know, I think I'll probably be okay with brand new OEM lines for the time being. These brakes are getting upgraded. So these are factory Yaris front brakes. I have 2012 Yaris SE brakes, which is a 275 millimeter rotor instead of 255. The problem is I cannot find track pads in America for Yaris SE brakes. So I'm probably not going to have the Yaris SE brakes on until the next event that I run. I'm going to order some Project Moo pads from Japan. It's about the only place I can find that sells them. So that's on the back burner at the moment, but Yaris brakes should be fine for the first event. There's track pads on there, so let's see here. You can see our exhaust here, so both factory cats. I sprayed the whole underside of the car with Steel-It. It wasn't the cleanest under here before. Be all stock back up to here, and then you can kind of see where it goes up to the muffler out the back. And let's see on the back here. So the white line rear sway bar here. It doesn't have the white line sticker anymore because I've had this sway bar for like 6 years and it was pretty rusty. So cleaned it up and give it a fresh coat of silver paint. Re-greased the bushings. Brand new U-bolts on here because this is a replacement axle. So this axle is out of a 2008 Yaris that I picked up at the junkyard. And the only reason I did that is because my bushings were trashed. And I was planning on doing a rear disc brake conversion. So these are Yaris SE, 2012 Yaris SE rear disc brakes. You can't really see too well. You can kind of see my bracket there. I designed a bracket in CAD and had it cut out on our plasma cutter here at work and welded that onto the factory hubs. BC coilover. BCBR equivalent, I guess I would call them. They are manufactured by BC, but they're not technically BC's. 12K springs, I picked these up from Battle Garage, I believe it is, on eBay, a shop out in California. 12K springs on all four corners, 180 millimeter length, 60 millimeter diameter, and yeah, these are very stiff. Very, very stiff, but it's a race car, so needed to up the spring rates. Let's see, and otherwise, the only other cool thing back here is this. So if you've ever been under one of these cars before, you'll notice that it has a grease zerk where there normally isn't one. That's because I actually custom made some spherical steel bushings to replace the factory trailing arm or rear axle beam bushings back here. The factory bushings are like $200 for just these two bushings, and I could not justify that. So I ended up buying some spherical joints off of McMaster. I machined some steel sleeves and pressed them in. They're you can't see because they're installed in the car, but if we take this one bolt out here on the side, on both sides, and drop the axle down, I actually machined these so there's a C-clip in here, and you can squeeze the C-clip, remove it, and then the bushing will slide out and you can slide a new one in. So if for some reason, well, these are a wear item because these are steel. These are not Teflon line steel. These are just greasable steel. So these will wear out eventually. So yeah, I made it really easy for myself to replace these once they do finally wear out. But I think that pretty much covers the underside of this thing. I mean, it's nothing too crazy. I mean, oh, well, there's a trailer hitch here, which we'll see in a little bit once I get the tire carrier loaded on the car. We'll see that in action. Got a Takata toe strap here. So I got this mounted with this massive 14 millimeter bolt and these super, super thick fender washers. So if for some reason I get stuck, I can get pulled out no problem, hopefully. Hopefully I don't get stuck. I don't even have to use it. That's the goal. But we're going to be pushing it this weekend, so there's a high probability that I am going to get stuck in a sand trap at some point. But anyway, yeah, that pretty much covers the underside of this. I think the oil's about done draining, so I get over to that. Yes. Factory Toyota oil filter. I was very surprised Walmart sells these now. So factory Toyota oil filter that I bought at Walmart for $7. I'm pretty stoked about that. A little lube on the gasket. And I know some people say you don't use motor oil, but There's only like 4,000 miles in this oil change, so I am not worried about it at all. Throw that guy on there. Nice fresh Toyota oil filter. Oh yeah, this is something I forgot about. So this right here, you know, I've got the set of Deffies in the car. I needed a good place to put my oil temp sensor. I don't like putting the temp sensors in pressurized oil if I don't have to. So what I did is I bought a 1/8 NPT steel bung and then drilled a hole in the oil pan and TIG welded it in place. And then this fire retardant sleeve that I have over it, this is a like a double-walled silicone and fiberglass sleeve. The only reason this is here is because I was finding that the airflow into the car was actually hitting the sensor and giving me a false reading. So this kind of insulates it from the ambient air and keeps me giving a proper reading to my gauges. Let's get rid of the drip here. And, oh yeah, basic magnetic steel oil plug. Alright, time to fill her up with some Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic 530. So this thing is supposed to take about 3.5 quarts with a filter. I'm going to add 4 though. I'm going to overfill it slightly. I haven't had oil starvation issues at the track before, but it's never a bad thing to do when you're going to be doing a track day to overfill the engine a little bit, especially if you don't have any type of oil pan baffling. I don't. It's all stock. So just going to give myself a little bit of added insurance here and give her just a little bit extra oil. Alright, oil change is done. Great success. So now we just got to finish checking the bolts and mark them. Alright, checked all the bolts. They're all good. Went through and paint markered a handful of things. You know, I see some people go through and they will they'll literally paint marker every nut and bolt on their car. I think that's really overkill. All I did was go through and all of the safety critical bolts. So anything that I know that if I were to lose this bolt, I would crash. So anything that I know that if I lost it, it would cause me to lose control of the vehicle, I marked. So any moving suspension bolts, that kind of stuff, got marked. But only the things that need to be. There's no need to overcomplicate it and mark every single nut and bolt on your car, because I just think that's kind of a silly waste of time. But that to me, you can do whatever you want. But yep, I only marked safety critical stuff. Never torque your wheels with an impact. Always use a torque wrench. Wonder how many ooga-doogas that is. Leave a comment if you have ever just blasted a wheel on with an impact and sent it. I think we all have at least at one point in our lives, but you never should, because it's a bad idea. And you should also always go back through and double check that you got all your lug nuts every time. Oop, see? That one didn't click. There we go. Well, I totally forgot the fender liners, so let's put her back up really quick so I can yank these things out, and you can see here this one's pretty well worked. That's all of that right there is from the tire rubbing. That's not supposed to be there, but that's what happens when you're driving a slammed car all the time. There's one side done. Nice, fresh, fully intact fender liner. Well, I think I'm pretty much loaded up. It's about 7:30 on Wednesday, and yeah, got the 660s on the Coseys mounted up on the cargo carrier. I made very efficient use of the space back here. I got the jack stands and handle, toolbox. That box is lug nuts, oil, brake fluid, wrap supplies, and detailing supplies all in the trunk here. Well, everyone, I'm going to wrap this one up here. I'm going to head home, get packed, get some rest, and get ready for this weekend. Whew. There she is in all her glory. Really hoping this doesn't fail. If this fails, I am so screwed. got it double strapped. I mean, you can see it's pretty low. It used to be level when I installed this trailer hitch. That's literally my number one fear on this trip right now, is that going to survive? But, well, I'm ending it here. Next time you see me, we're going to be on the road. Catch you in the next one.